Welcome back to the Boys and Bolos podcast. Jarrett, we're down here in the Barbershop studio. I hesitated again. It really gets me every time.
You get nervous on the mic?
I get nervous, yeah.
It's like, oh, God, what am I going to say?
What am I going to say this week? Oh, my God.
We are back with another in-studio guest all the way from, and I wasn't actually sure where he lives now. Rich Slate is in the studio. Rich, how you doing?
Good. What's up, guys?
We're doing well. So wait, okay, your family
Lives in Beverly.
I literally know the house over by the beach. But where are you currently living?
I live in Linfield, Massachusetts.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
It
Very
was
cool.
about 15 minutes. Probably not even from here. Super quick.
Nobody's on the road right now.
No, not at all.
The Sunday after Thanksgiving, it is very quiet. A lot of hangovers. I think the Pats are playing. Did they play this afternoon?
Earlier.
Oh, they played
yeah.
earlier.
Yep.
Okay, so that's already, because whenever the Patriots play, that would be, I would literally go to the gym whenever the Patriots would play because there was no one in the gym. It's like a insider trading. Anyway, it's a good one.
It's a good one.
Rich is on the pod, and actually, Rich, I think I asked you, but refresh my memory. Do you have a dog in the race that is the Premier League? Or I think you said you follow a couple teams, but there's not one that like you would get tattooed on your body, maybe.
If it was Facebook, like it would be. I don't know if they still have. It's complicated. It would be.
Okay.
I'd say like it's complicated. Fulham is my team. They are my number one.
Right. This is what you said. Okay.
But
right.
Fulham is Fulham, so obviously they're not in the Premier League right now. But they are in first in the Championship. Sure, they're going to get promoted again and be there for another year, and then they'll be back. That's how it goes. The life of Fulham. So they're my number one. I studied abroad in London when I was in college for a semester, so I kind of bandwagon most of the London-based teams. Honestly, the last couple of years, probably my number two would be West Ham. I really like the Hammers. Obviously, it's a great time to be a fan of them right now. And to a lesser extent, Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham, Palace. I mean, not really. So those are pretty much the way I go.
So London-centric is the main thing.
That's what I know the best. Yeah, and what I follow.
Well, that's cool. Because normally I feel like when we have people in the pod, we're like, oh, we're having on a City person, we're having on a Villa person, we're having on a Liverpool person, but I wasn't exactly sure. And now I remember the conversation we had where you said you were like, I'm into Fulham, but obviously they're not in the Premier League currently.
Of course not. No.
Whoa, wait. I will give Fulham some credit. They've had some crazy good form. They've outscored championship teams like 20-1 or something crazy.
They're crushing it. Yeah. They drew yesterday. Tim Ream, shout out U.S. men's national team, actually scored his first goal in like I think a couple of years, but they drew, of course. But yeah, no, they've been crushing it. They're doing really, really well.
The goal differential is like crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
No, they've been killing people. Mitrovic is unbelievable. He should be on a better team for sure.
I think it's impressive. So what you're saying is Mitrovic is still there, Tim Ream's still there. Is Robinson, the U.S. kid?
Yep.
He's still there.
Oh, yeah.
So it sounds like a lot of them just went down, and they're like, we'll come back up.
Just 11 Craven Cottage, they just don't want to leave it. It's just such a great place.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because Mitrovic had the goal. Did he have the goal against Portugal?
Yes.
In the European World Cup. Okay.
He's very accomplished. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how he's been there for as long as he's been there.
Yeah, Mitrovic last season I think was a pretty good poach for the fantasy because he was so cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And if you play a three front, he was just like you throw him up with Harry Kane and somebody else, and you'd do pretty well in the season.
If Fulham ever scored, in the Premiership, especially last year, it usually would be through him in some way. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, good to know. Good to know. So London heavy. Where do we want to start with last week, Jeff? Do you want to talk about the Spurs game, how good that was?
Oh, God. It was actually kind of good in a way because I didn't have to stress about it this week.
Oh, good. You picked up on my...
Yes, they didn't play. They
didn't play.
Snowball.
That's how good they are.
Yeah, it was so good. It was interesting, the game. Now, I want to pose this to you guys because, I've been doing some thinking about the game getting postponed because of snow and all this.
You've been doing some thinking?
Do you think... Now, there's been a lot of musings online about whether
when Jeff
whether
okay, let me
Burnley
time out. Let me translate everything Jeff just said. I've been looking at Twitter all day on my couch. Here's my question.
Been doing my own research.
Yeah, I've been doing my own research.
Do you think that Burnley saw that they had 4 starters out, that it was going to be snowy?
Conspiracy theory.
Yeah, and that they were like, well, we could just not put the tarp on the field. We can just not turn on our undersoil heating, and we'll let Spurs come up here, and then we'll just let it snow.
What do you think, Rich?
Having been in London, I know Burnley's obviously not in London, but England is not really used to snow so much. The couple times it snowed the semester I was in London, it was like when you're in the South and it snows, like it was just complete chaos. So I would subscribe to something like that. Yeah, I mean, partially intentional, but then also, they get 2 inches of snow and it's like the end of the world. So
Right.
I think there's something to that for sure.
I think there's definitely something to that. It's like, well, we need to turn on the undersoil heating 3 hours before kickoff. So we'll tell the grounds crew, turn it on about 2 hours before. So it'll look like we want to play, but we actually don't want to play.
Yeah, it's like
I like that.
It's also called a weather forecast.
I wonder.
And it's like I'm not saying that like we're that good at predicting the weather, but they knew that snow was coming.
I wonder if QAnon has got onto this. Should we go into some QAnon chats and be like, look, something has happened. Sean Dyke is a baker, a QAnon baker. If you guys know what that is, that's deep lore. Do you think Sean Dyke did? So okay. Here's my question: do you think Sean Dyke did this, or do you think just the overall Burnley organization just kind of decided this is what they were going to do because they looked at their?
There was a couple things. People thought originally that they don't even have under soil heating.
Do they actually? Or is this a conspiracy theory?
They actually do. So if you go to the Turf Moor Wikipedia page, it says they have one.
Also, the fact that we always say Turf Moor and I picture a Home Depot that only has turf gets even richer now because
they can't keep their
they
field.
can't even keep their turf more.
But then the conspiracy was that it stopped working.
Oh,
it was broken.
Of course.
Yep.
In quotes, you guys can't see Jeff's air quotes. Broken.
And then the theory was that they turned it on like an hour and a half before the decision to postpone the game.
What are choices?
Yeah.
A lot of things to pick from, which lead me to believe QAnon's got to grab hold. There's so many outs.
Either way, it hurts probably. I don't know who it hurts. Spurs probably need the rest as well. Who
it doesn't hurt anybody,
Doesn't
honestly.
really hurt
The more rest.
You just jam this game into the schedule like later on in the season on like some Wednesday or Thursday.
They're going to jam it in later in the season when there's either the Carabao Papa John's Cup day or an FA Cup and both teams are out, and they just fill it that way.
Yeah.
That's when they'll fill it in. Well, other than that, Arsenal is still winning. So, Rich, I have a bet with John, and I'm currently losing this bet.
I heard about it when we were out to dinner that night or after the game.
Yeah,
I've been
losing
keeping
this
track
bet
of it since then, and yeah, it's not going so well.
Arsenal is winning the games they should win. That's all I'm going to give them. When they play bigger teams, we'll see. They did beat Leicester, and Leicester's looking a little bit better, but Leicester's still 13th in the table, so it is what it is. Right now, I'm losing this bet. And so as John hears this, I'm sure he's smiling somewhere, giggling with his little giggle that he has, which is all well and cute. My bet is a long-term bet. This is the long con. Week 38, we'll see. I think by March 13th, the Ides of March, I'll know if I'm going to win my bet. Because that's when either West Ham continue their form, Leicester hop back in, Everton decide to get competitive, Wolves continue to stay competitive, maybe Leeds picks it up a little bit. I just need other teams to just like nick points off Arsenal. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, they're riding pretty, and I owe John Scheimer 100 doll hairs via Venmo, which will be not the biggest deal in the world, but he'll hold it over my head for the rest of my life. So it doesn't really matter the dollar amount so much.
Yes, he will.
Exactly. But with that said, where do you think Arsenal will finish this season? Because they're currently on a great run of form, and they're youngsters. They have 3 youngsters who I would trade many of Chelsea's youngsters for. Certain youngsters, that should be said. But Martinelli's phenomenal. He scored a goal against us 2 or 3 years ago, and he got it at half field and just roasted and scored. And I was like, okay, he's serious. Smith Rowe, I still think is their best player for this season and maybe even last season for the minutes he's played. And then Saka, class on class on class, and all 3 of those guys are super young. So, where do you think they finish?
They're definitely overachieving right now. Not to just play into your bet, but yeah, I mean, I don't expect them to keep this speed up right now. I mean, I would see them more as probably like a 7th, 8th place team, something like that. They are definitely, like you said, they're getting the results against the teams that they should. And then that's what it is. I mean, when they play the usual kind of top 4 or 5 teams, that's usually when they have those embarrassing results. But I mean, they're doing what they do right now, but it is Arsenal. And I mean, in their recent form, if their recent history tells us anything, as soon as good things happen for them, something bad is coming right around the corner in terms of like they're just going to have a bad streak, or some of the aforementioned players you just said are going to get hurt or something like that. So they're playing well right now, but I wouldn't bank on it forever. And the teams that you mentioned too that are kind of scuffling right now, I would definitely bet a Leicester for sure is going to get better. They won today. It's Arsenal is going to come back to the pack more for sure.
This is my thought. Ramsdale is way overachieving. I would say that like their team right now, without Ramsdale making like crazy acrobatic saves
every game, not just like every once in a while.
Every
Every
yesterday.
game,
Oh my
he
God.
has like his highlight videos his highlight reel could just be from the last 6 games.
but they're scoring. So it's not like they're winning these games 1-0, whatever. So I'm thinking a lot of these games that they maybe have won 2-1 or whatever it was. It might have been draws. So they would have dropped 2 points, right? So they would have been down in like right now, where they're in 5th.
Right now they're in 5th, and they have a whole game ahead of Wolves.
This
who are in
puts
6th.
this like if they had like tied a few of those games without Ramsdale making those saves, they would be back in like
7th,
8th,
8th.
9th. And so that's like kind of how I expect them to finish. I expect them to lose to all the top 5 teams, and then beat the teams that are basically 16th to relegation, and then tie some of those mid-pack teams, and then nick a game here, lose a game there, and just kind of finish in the middle, like 9th, 10th place, about the same as last year. Because you know what, like this December little window of games is a lot of games. Those guys are going to get hurt. Some of those guys are going to get hurt. I mean,
They don't
Party's
have the
going to get
depth.
hurt.
They don't have
Odegaard's
the
going to get
depth
hurt.
that they think they do.
Not at
They
all.
don't. They don't
No.
have any depth. They're just like Tottenham. They have no depth, and so they're just. And I don't think anything really is going to happen in the January transfer window for them, because they've spent a shitload.
Well, they got
in-
Ben White as a diamond,
Yeah, they got Ben White. They spent $25 million on Ramsdale.
which
They-
apparently is paying
It was
off.
apparently paying off. But
Yes.
Ben White, I mean, whatever. I mean, he's okay center back. He's going to get better. But either way, they spent a good amount of money. They're going to buy Odegaard, I think.
And that's why I made the bet, because I look at the thing and I'm like, all right, West Ham, Wolves, Leicester, and Everton should probably by the end of the season be challenging.
Challenging for top 10.
Just challenging in the top 8.
Okay.
Just
Close to them.
basically, above the premier teams. And then you add in the fact that Manchester United and Tottenham haven't even found their footing, and they're hanging around a game and a half, 2 games back from Arsenal. That's where I think actually I'll lose the bet if Arsenal finish 8th, but I win the bet if they finish 9th, and I think they're going to finish in either 8th or 9th. I
gonna be
don't
close.
think they're going to finish 7th, and I think 10th is too far back. So John and I, it's going to probably even come down to goal differential. It's going to be very,
That's a
very
cool-
tight.
It's going to be crazy because, like, I don't think Arsenal are any better than they were last year, even though they added pieces. Just because all the other teams ahead of them either got better or just either got better or are better.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
the
Like-
wealth inequality of Premier League teams continues to grow. Even though, like say Arsenal got 5% better, well, that doesn't really matter when Liverpool, City, and Chelsea got about 15% better.
Right. I don't think Liverpool got 15% better.
I think they did,
I
because
think
they actually got their groove back.
They
got Mane back,
They got
Jota's
back, but
flying.
I don't think they got.
They got Virgil
added-
van
they didn't-
Dijk
they
in the
didn't
back
add
scoring
pieces, though.
bangers.
They didn't add pieces though.
They didn't add pieces.
So I'm just trying to.
Yeah, but I'm still saying I think they went down 15% last year, and I think they're
Right.
back up. Anyways, if we could also stop and look, I was looking at this today, Jeff, who's getting relegated? Because I was pretty sure Norwich is going down, and I still think that they're probably going down. But I thought that they were dead in the bottom going down. But
And
now
Newcastle's
Newcastle, they love to suck. So they're in the basement with 6 points, and they have negative 14 goal differential. Norwich is actually worse defensively because they have negative. Well, this doesn't actually say anything about their defense, but they're negative 20 goal differential. More so speaks to the imbalance between goals scored against goals let in.
After Burnley pulled that stunt today, I want them to go down.
I think they will go down.
Yeah, they're not. They don't have. Their players aren't very good.
I guess my point is Newcastle going to get relegated? What do you think right
God,
now?
I hope so.
You
I
do?
just hope so. Yeah, I just hope so because that just adds to the whole drama of them getting taken over by the Saudi group.
Do you think that in the contract there's like a if you get relegated we are not buying you clause?
No, I think the deal went through. I think
The
it's
deal went through,
done
right?
and dusted. I think it's it. I mean, they're going to add pieces in January. They're going to add some players in January. It'll be fun. They'll be fine. They'll squeak out a 17.
Dude, all they need is 17. That's where they're trying to live, baby. Rich, so in January, what's Newcastle going for? If you're Newcastle,
I mean, that's a long list. Yeah, when you have zero wins right now, I mean, yeah, you kind of need everything. It's funny you were talking about Newcastle. I was just looking at their roster currently right now, and the lineups they've had recently, and just like it looks like a team that has no wins. I mean, they just have nothing really. I mean, John Joe Shelby's still there somehow. Miguel Almiron from MLS is back on the bench. They're a mess. So yeah, I mean, they kind of need everything. And those three teams, to kind of go back to the last question you posed to Jeff in terms of who's going to get relegated. I mean, I kind of think it's a lock that those three teams. I'd be surprised if any of them get out of there. Really, Burnley, Norwich, Newcastle. I think it's going to be those three. I don't see any of them really improving enough to. I mean, Norwich is basically Fulham by another name. Like they're always.
Yeah,
they're in 1 year back and forth, so I have no confidence in them. And we were talking about Burnley before. I mean, I don't really think much of them. I guess you would think that of those three, Newcastle is actually the one that they'll spend some money, like you're saying. So I mean, they'll probably have a chance to leap the others. But you know, is Leeds going to drop down that much? Like, I don't think so.
The Leeds thing is an interesting quagmire for me because they were booing Bielsa at the end of this game when they tied, I believe, Brighton.
It was tied, yeah.
And fans were kind of like, you know, the pundits were like, how are you ever booing Bielsa? He's like a god amongst coaches. And obviously the coach at the end of the day can only there's a ceiling from what every coach can do with players. They can only take them to a certain level for so long. Every once in a while they'll beat a big team, but over the season, a 38-game season, Bielsa can only do so much, and I think he's really hurting without Bamford. But one of the things I was going to say, and when I look at these teams, I don't think you're wrong at all, Rich, that Burnley, Norwich, and Newcastle are on the chopping block because we just completed week 13, and there are 38 games in the season. So if we do 3 by 13, we get 39 games, which more or less will give us an idea. And we know that you have to score somewhere above 35 to 40 points to kind of be safe. And if you multiply these current score tallies by 3, Burnley only gets to 27 points. Norwich gets to 27, and Leeds doesn't even crack 20 because they have 18. So they get 18 points. 6 by 3,
Not
18. Excuse me, Newcastle. I misspoke. So all three of these teams, they're hurting, and clearly they're looking at this, and then they're also looking at their potential projected, points to be taken away. They're all in serious relegation struggles. Newcastle's already flipped their coach. Norwich has flipped their coach. And Sean Dyche is now canceling games to not lose. It's not looking good. The one thing I guess I don't want to see Leeds go down. And I don't really know why. I just think that they're great. And they took them so long to get back to the first. They got an amazing coach who I guess what I will say, if Leeds goes down, maybe we switch Berhalter and we get Bielsa. That's all I'll say with that, because that'd be phenomenal.
I'd be down with that, yeah.
I'd be down with that, but I don't know. Is that weird that I guess I just don't want Leeds to go down.
Yeah, I mean, Leeds is a good story because it's like they're the only team out of that city, and they got a really strong fan base, and they've been in the Premier League before, and they have a history, and blah blah blah. But I just don't see Leeds. I think Leeds is going through a rough patch. I don't think they're as bad as they have been playing.
Agreed.
Oh, I agree. I think it's just been tough. I think they had some tough draws.
Once they get Bamford back, they'll hum along a little bit better,
and get Rafinha full time. I mean, he's just would they have those two and get a draw, a luck. Or
I
two.
mean, Elie hasn't been playing. They've been missing some players. They've been playing that Gelhardt kid who's he's not. He's got some more work to do in terms of being a Premier League striker, but they don't have a striker, and so maybe they go and pick up a guy from the Championship in January. They have a owner that spends money, so maybe that's what they do. I really don't know the answer to that, but I think that they're committed in terms of their training facility, in terms of their ownership, in terms of their coach, and they have Phillips and some guys that are Premier League guys that they're not going to just sit back in January and not improve. So I see them squeaking by in 12th, 13th place kind of. They finished 9th last season
I think so.
That
ninth.
sounds right.
They finished they did
Did a
really
really
well.
good season.
They had a
Yeah.
really good season. Yeah, really good first season. So you can't expect them to do that well again because they were kind of flying high last year. People didn't know what to expect. They basically just were the fittest team in the league and ran all over people. But the team that I'm actually surprised are doing a tiny bit better are Southampton. I picked them to be relegated, and they've
Still not a bad pick.
It's not a bad pick.
I was going to mention them.
We still have 2/3 to go, and you said, Rich, that Arsenal's overachieving, which I think is accurate. I think Jeff would probably also agree. When you look at Leicester, how far are they underachieving?
A good amount, yeah. I mean, they got the result today, so they beat Watford 4-2, which is something that Leicester should do against Watford. But yeah, I mean, I think they're 10th right now. Is that right? I'm looking at the table.
Yeah, they're currently 10th.
They're 10th. So yeah, I mean, talk about a team that is probably not going to finish where they are right now. Leicester is definitely probably like a 5th through 7th type team, I would say. So yeah, they're 5-3-5. They're definitely going to get better. Vardy had 2 goals today. I always trust Brendan Rodgers. He's definitely one of my favorite managers. They're going to be better for sure. And I mean, they've had their recent history proves it. Like I was talking about Arsenal, how they're kind of frauds right now. Leicester is underachieving, but their recent history tells you that they're better than this. So they'll pick it up for sure.
I'm pretty sure the first couple games too, they didn't have Madison, and he was coming off an injury. So and he scored today, or he did. He
did. He scored today.
He scored today.
Yeah. Today.
And I think he wasn't even starting up until like 2 weeks ago. So yeah, Leicester is annoying because last season they were hanging around in 3rd, like pretty much the entire season, and then dropped down to 5th. They blew it just like they did the season before to get in the Europa League. But I was hoping, we wouldn't have to think about Leicester challenging for a top 4 spot, even a Europa League spot, but they're going to be there at the end. I mean, they just have too much class on the field, and it looks like they are going to progress in Europa as well, so they'll still be playing midweek games, but they've got Madison, they've got Ndidi and Vardy and all those guys. And
they have Daka, who I actually have in my
Daka.
fantasy. After he scored those 4 in the Europa, I was like, he was super cheap to throw up top. We'll see what happens with
Hasn't
him.
played much since.
Never plays.
Never plays.
Never
He's
plays.
a Europa League.
I was going to say
guy.
Europa League superstar.
Yeah, he's a Europa League superstar.
Midweek hero.
Well, you ready for week 14?
Yeah.
Are
Sure.
you sure you're
Give
ready?
it to me. Wait a second. So just so
Yeah,
I was
we need
informed.
to- go
I was
ahead.
informed just before the episode started that there's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday games, and that constitutes week 14.
And then the weekend is
Week 13.
the weekend is week 15.
Wait, what?
Yeah, we just finished week 13.
Got it. So the midweek games are week 14,
Yes.
and then we got week 15.
Yes. And then the next week's games start on Friday, week 16. And then there's another midweek after that. Basically, we're getting into the December drudgery. So between now, which is the end of November, and the first of the year, we just finished week 13, but we have week 14 through 21. Yeah, 14 through 21. So 7 weeks between now and the first of the year. We have a game every 3 days.
Wow.
Jeff's super excited. For those of you who don't know, Jeff does the editing. He's
We're gonna have to
currently
do it-
blacking out.
I'm currently not having a good time.
He's currently having a glitch.
Happy holidays
Seizure.
from the boys and bolos.
Yeah, happy Christmas Hanukkah Quantica. Jeff, get in the bunker.
Sorry, kids. I'm in the
Yeah,
basement.
so everyone should enjoy this because after this we're gonna have 5-minute episodes.
yeah.
Who won? Bing, 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 bing.
We're just going to do like YouTube shorts. That's it.
TikToks.
Yeah, exactly.
Little
TikToks,
TikToks,
under
yeah.
60 seconds. We really want to get the younger generation.
That's why you brought me in for sure.
Dead,
That's
dude.
why we wanted to get in touch. We're like, we'll bring Rich in. Deep on TikTok.
Influencer.
Exactly. Influencer extraordinary. That's actually his handle.
So we're going to talk about week 14 and 15?
No. We're just going to do week 14.
Oh, God. That means week 15, we got to do another episode for the next 15?
I think we should.
On like what, Friday?
We do it Thursday night.
Listeners, you're hearing the inner
Yeah,
inner
you're not
planning.
supposed to hear this.
You're
And
not-
I don't
the
think
curtain.
and we're not going to edit this. Anyways, let's dive into week 14, and I'll help Jeff sue later. I'll give him a shot or two.
hit the freaking pipe upstairs.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Couple gummies for
Get a
sure.
Couple
little-
gummies,
Get a little litty. He might need the THC CBD hybrids to
I've
push
only,
him through.
I've only had one beer, folks.
You know what? Maybe we should get a Seagrass. Anyways, we should get a Seagrass sponsorship. That's the word I'm looking for.
Nice.
Anyways, let's start on Tuesday. Fun little Tuesday for Jeffrey. To Newcastle. Oh my God!
Let's just saw this.
Yeah, this is gonna be the first Fire game. This is going to be actually a game to tune into.
Poop emoji.
Yeah, because it's going to be the wooden spoon emoji.
Oh my God.
Where it's who sucks most. But we have in the basement Newcastle United versus Norwich. Jeff, I'm going to throw this to you because you look so happy right now. They're at St. James's Park. Who's winning?
Norwich.
Jesus, even though they're away?
Yeah.
What's the scoreline?
1-0.
Timu Pukki. Late winner.
Timo Pukki.
Timo
TK.
Pukki. A hero. The next game is Leeds versus Crystal Palace, also on
I'll throw to
Tuesday.
Rich on this one.
Yeah, I'm throwing this to Rich.
There we go. Palace actually has been decent.
It's at Ellen Road.
Yeah, I probably Palace like 2-1, something
Palace
like that.
is annoying. They're
So annoying.
they're so annoying.
Sneaky okay,
Sneaky,
okay.
which is
sneaky
about their
combo, okay.
ceiling. That's about as high as they can ever get. But they're you never think about them.
We had guests on earlier, like a preseason. Our friends Eddie and Nader was like, Vieira doesn't know what he's doing. Doesn't have any idea. They're getting relegated. See you later, Crystal Palace.
They
And
still could
that's
get
they
relegated.
still could,
Oh, for sure.
technically. I mean,
Oh, totally. Talk about an overachieving team. They're in
They're-
11th right now.
Yeah, they're a game and a third. They're 16. They're 4 points. I mean, they're actually more than that. 7 points over relegation.
I mean, I think Conor Gallagher has been, and Benteke maybe have been overachieving.
I was gonna say Benteke is crushing it.
the fact that
yeah.
Benteke is still scoring goals,
Right.
it's like LeBron dunking.
Time machine.
Yeah, totally.
Anyway,
Anyways, next game, Chelsea-Watford. I'm going to field this. Throw myself an alley. It was at Vicarage. We should beat them. I'm going to go 2-0.
just like you should have beaten Manchester United today.
Yeah, well, that sucked. That's what happens when you start Hudson
Oh my God.
Odoi, Timo Werner, and Ziyech.
Do you know how many times I had to literally get a beer in the middle of that game because just watching Timo Werner play? It was
Oof. He's a tough watch, right?
so hard
A
to watch.
tough watch.
What has happened to him
He
in the Premier
does
League?
so well.
Yeah.
He gets himself in the best positions
Oh, yeah.
and cannot finish. Cannot put the ball.
It makes me think
into
like
the
if we had Ronaldo on our team, because Ronaldo's automatic. Like if he's in the box, he's gonna at least put it on frame in a nice shot with like some pace in the ball. I mean, he'd be golden ball because he'd have 50 goals being on Chelsea. Even last season, when once Tuchel came in and we started doing well in Europe, we just started creating the most chances around the box. But we don't have the guy to just finish it. We don't have a Drogba. We have Lukaku, a tree. Like so. Anyways, I got us 2-0. I know we're gonna be at Vicarage Road, but I got us 2-0. Thoughts on that? You guys agree? Disagree?
That's fine. That's a good call.
Yeah, easy.
Oh, wow. Next one, Rich, I'm going to go to you. We got West Ham and Brighton Hove Albion. This is going to be played at the London Stadium, so West Ham will be home.
Hammers, hammer the hammers for this one for sure. Say like 3-1, couple goals.
Yeah,
I probably agree with that.
Yeah.
A lot of bubbles flying around.
They're
There.
rolling right
A
now.
lot of bubbles. This could be a good game. Potter's been doing really well, and I think regardless of what happens with
Today was a weird game because of the snow and city's annoying.
the elements,
Yeah.
regardless of what happens, I think he could be on the move this summer to a bigger destination. I don't know what that is yet. The next game, Jeff, your favorite, Sean Dyke, Wolves. So Burnley Wolves, and this will be at the Molineux. I don't see a way Burnley win this. Am I wrong?
I don't see a way. I still think Burnley's going to be missing 3 or 4 of their starters due to injury. I don't see them coming back that quick. I don't know if the players. There was a few players that were out because of yellow cards. I'm not sure if they will be out this game or they're out the Spurs game they make. I don't know how that works.
Oh, if it's the next calendar game or if
Right.
it's the next played game.
That's a good
I do
question.
not know. I think it's probably the next played game.
So they'll be
Probably.
out for the Spurs game that's played in the later
No,
time?
they'll probably be out for this
This
game.
one.
Oh, for this.
I
Okay.
would assume this game.
Well, that sucks for them because Wolves are not.
Yeah, they have to be out this game. You know why? Because say someone was on 5
Yeah,
cards, because
yeah.
then you can't.
You
Yeah,
can't-
you
it
have to
makes
just
sense.
go.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean it could work out for both teams either way. But yeah, Wolves are in much better form. They're
What's
they
your,
actually have an attacking player like
What's your score
they
prediction?
have Jimenez. It's not. I mean 2-0 probably Wolves.
That's nice.
At home. Yeah.
Rich, next game, Southampton, Leicester. This will be at St. Mary's. So Leicester will be on the road.
Like Leicester, say 2-0.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
need selfishly, I need Leicester to start playing well because two things happen in this game. One, they get closer to Arsenal, and two, Jeff's prediction of Southampton being relegated, which I thought was a great one, gets closer.
Also,
I do too.
I think I gotta start picking up some Leicester players on my fantasy because they're gonna start.
They're
rolling.
very undervalued.
Yeah, they're very
I
undervalued.
May
They're
get
gonna
Vardy
start
after
rolling.
this next
Get him on
week.
their low.
I'm gonna get
Yeah.
Vardy because like he's got like 7 goals or something.
Yeah, he's always going to score somewhere between 15 to 22 goals in the Prem. so.
Automatic. Yeah.
The next one, I'll let you guys decide who wants it. Everton, Liverpool. This is a little derby. This is a game where Liverpool don't need to win, but Everton kind of need to win. I
They
feel
need
like
something.
for the energy of their season. This is Zach Goodison. Which
Does
one wants to?
anybody think that Everton can win this game?
It's soccer, Jeff. It's soccer.
Is this a real?
I think they have
game?
like 1 in 10 chance
Jordan
of winning.
Pickford, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. Like what? Who?
Well, last time
Who's
they
thinking
played at Goodison and
I don't
Virgil
care.
van Dijk played,
I don't
he got the
care.
scissor job.
I don't care. Liverpool have been just smashing.
Smash.
Hell of a week.
Smashing
Sick
teams.
week.
Smash.
Crazy week.
Did you see Jota's celebration? I thought it was great.
No, what did you do?
Maybe other players have done it. I just
Video
don't.
games?
Yeah,
He's playing
he,
video
like,
games?
Crossed his legs, sat cross-legged, and just started like playing video games because he tapped in 2 goals
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
I mean,
Easy.
it was like tiki-taka out there.
Yep.
It's not my fantasy. I mean, Rich, you see any way Liverpool's losing this game?
Minus a COVID outbreak or something? No.
There you go.
Minus a COVID. Yeah. When Mane, Salah, and Jota cannot play, it's actually kind of scary Liverpool right now because even, what's his name? Thiago's scoring goals.
Yeah.
And he looked like dog shit for most of the time since they bought him. Up until like the last
yeah.
month, he's starting to find his groove.
Yep.
So, Jeff, do you want to give us a score prediction then? Back up your assertion that they've been winning 4-0 a lot. Just
I'm
FYI.
going to just say 4-0.
I was going to throw 4 out there. Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad
The problem
thing.
with Everton is they're just not a good football team. Straight up. And I'm not like trying to be a dick, but like they're just as bad as Tottenham. They don't have like a defense.
Who do you think's
they have
finishing higher,
Dominic
Jeff?
Calvert-Lewin.
Everton or Tottenham?
Tottenham. Because Tottenham have the money to spend in January, and they'll get rid of some dead weight. But I just don't think Everton have really a direction. They don't have. They're gonna get rid of Benitez. They're gonna because he's gonna get fired because they're gonna lose more games. So what do they do? Like they don't have the type of sporting director that Spurs have, and they just don't have the money that Spurs
They don't have the money. Well, we'll see. I think 4-0 honestly wouldn't. I mean, 0 people would be surprised. Everton fans included in that guess. Next game, Aston Villa City. Okay, Aston Villa are on a winning streak. They've won their last 2 under the one and only Stevie G. This is at Villa. Man City have been imperial. So what happens here?
That'll be a competitive match. City will definitely win. I'll give it like a 2-1. I think Villa has under Gerrard so far, and they're okay. They're not bad. So I think they'll hang around. I mean, Manchester City will probably have like a 75% possession, something like that. 25 shots on goal, one of those deals, kind of like Chelsea Man U today. But yeah, say 2-1, something like that.
Yeah, City's been looking freakish, like scary.
I mean, Villa's come a long way from celebrating not getting relegated 2 seasons ago. I mean, they had a pretty good season last year.
Cue Roy Keane.
Yeah.
Imagine if they ever win anything.
Yeah.
That was a bad Roy Keane impression, but you understand.
I understand. But I feel like this year they've been underachieving just a little bit. But they're playing a little bit better now because, of course, they just took 6 points.
Jeff, this is what happens when you lose Ross Barkley.
So what happens when it happens when you don't have who's that player that you thought was the best thing since sliced bread? What's his name?
Oh, Grealish?
No, the guy on Aston Villa, the forward. What's his name?
Oh, dude's money. Why do you hate on him?
Who is he?
Yeah, who are you talking about?
I can't think of his name. Now I'm not even put on the spot.
And you're not even drinking. You're not even drinking.
Ollie Watkins.
Ollie Watkins.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ollie Watkins.
Oh.
You're not even drinking. I'm 3 in the bag. I know names. I know things.
I mean, when he's not scoring, okay, whatever. They're fine. They're like a mid-table, not even a mid-table. They're like a 12th place team. That's right where Villa should be.
And they're 13th currently.
And that's why I celebrated when West Ham lost it, because like I feel like they're like an 8th place team. That's where they should be.
They need to
No
be
offense.
knocked down a peg.
No, totally. That's, yeah.
It's like, you just need to be knocked down a peg. You need to
Jeff, let's continue with the knock down a peg attitude and tell me what's going to happen between the Tottenham-Brentford game on Thursday.
Oh, Brentford's tough.
It's going to be at home. I don't really know if that even matters for you anymore.
No. I mean, you might get Romero back. So
Brentford's been looking good, dude. Brentford's been looking
better.
nice.
Like, they don't score a lot of goals. I mean, they don't give up a lot of goals. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say. They won today on a penalty. So a player did get kicked in the face. I think it was a kick in the face situation.
Geesh.
Yeah, it was a
Geesh.
right in the face.
Geesh.
But Ivan Toney is pretty good. I mean, they've got a solid team. They've got a solid team that we thought might get relegated.
So what I'm smelling is a tie.
Yeah, unfortunately, but it's a home game. Spurs tend to play better at home. Conte still wants to do that whole 3-5-2 thing, but they're not fit. So
That whole 3-5-2 thing.
well, it works when the players are fit, but when they're all like,
You sound like conservatives talking about the benefits of doing yoga. Yeah, they're doing yoga again at that house.
I mean, you saw the game. Spurs lost to Mura over the.
No, actually, I didn't see the game.
Oh, you didn't see it. I didn't let you.
You
watch
told
it.
me about it.
I told you about it. I
I
didn't let
said,
you
"Can I
watch
watch
it.
the highlights?" You said, "Do not watch the highlights."
Well, the funny thing was, it was both goals that Mura scored in this Europa Conference League game. It was because Davinson Sanchez is dog shit, and so I'm like, okay, Davinson Sanchez is dog shit. He'll never play a Spurs game again. I look at the lineup today. He's in the starting 11. I'm like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah, I woke up late today, and I wake up to all these texts, and it's like Jeff's stream of conscious. Davinson Sanchez sucks. Like poop emoji. I hate him. Sean Dyche sucks. Like something about underground heating, and I'm like half awake, like in my fever dream.
I think the game's gonna get postponed. Oh, the game's postponed. Fuck Burnley.
He's like,
they're stupid asses.
He's like, you don't have to come over now. I'll see you for the Chelsea
Yeah.
United game. Okay, so what's the score? Do you want to go tie 2-2 for fun or 1-1 because they suck?
No, I'm gonna give Spurs. I'm gonna give Spurs the win, 2-1.
Oh wow, I like that attitude.
You like that?
I like that. I like
Yeah, I
normally.
only got my hopes up. Just
Normally, you like to say that they're gonna lose, so that way, if they win, you feel better. But if they lose, you feel vindicted. You're like, yeah, I told you.
they're not gonna get blown out. I mean,
No, they're gonna win. Usually, they're gonna win
2-1.
2-1. The last game is gonna either be a snooze fest or also or phenomenal. Manchester United versus Arsenal. It's gonna be at Old Trafford. Rich, I'm gonna let you field this one. You could say any scoreline, and I'd agree. I just want you to know.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of those like rivalries that, yeah, it could be like 0-0, it could be like 4-4. That's 3-3. We'll give it a 3-3 draw.
See, this is the one. Okay, I'm saying this out loud because we said this multiple times in the pod where people give us things. When James said that there was going to be a 6-0 game, it ended 7-0. We said Liverpool would win last week 4-0. We've had ridiculous. So, like, I think
on the money.
Yeah, if you can bet 3-3, put $5 on it because I don't think it's unrealistic. So my question is, if you're Michael Carrick or their new coach, do you start Ronaldo or not, and why? This is a heated thing right now on the internet.
Yeah, that's a good question. I would. I mean, still their best player, still one of the best players in the world. What are some reasons not to?
He doesn't do the offensive closing down that other teams do. And if they play a high possession team like an Arsenal, like a City, like a Chelsea, he's just not causing enough problems.
Okay.
Not only to their back four, but also to the holding midfielder. And if you don't shut down somebody like N'Golo Kante, it's a problem over 90 minutes.
Of course.
If you don't shut down somebody like Rodri, it's a huge problem over 90 minutes.
Yep.
I don't know if Arsenal have that potential player, but like if he can't drop in now, Ronaldo obviously on set pieces is great because the guy can jump out the roof.
Yep.
But you know, it's kind of like in the game we play now where it's just total football. A lot of people are like, he's not pressing and he's not being the first line of defense that the forward needs to be.
Kind of a dinosaur a little bit. Yeah.
And I get that. He's an older guy.
Yeah.
Like, he should have the pieces around him to be able to. He should have the Mason Greenwoods and
much
the
more is expected of
Rashfords.
him than should be at this point.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that
that
gets hung over his head. And as hopefully this will be the outro, Jeff, did you see that clip I sent you where Carragher and Roy Keane are fighting?
I mean, is that any different from any other clip?
Yeah, but it was actually like a decent clip.
Breaking news.
Because Carragher was actually like, you know, he was like breaking news. Roy Keane was actually saying things against United, but Carragher was saying things for United, which is kind of like a weird thing.
No,
Interesting.
I didn't watch it. But I'll
Yeah,
have
but
to,
basically, Carragher's like, you got to put him on the field because he's, you know, the number. No, Roy Keane's like, he needs to be on the field because I'm getting this all wrong. Roy Keane was like, he needs to be on the field because he's the number one. I think this is how it went. I watched a bunch of clips today. But Carragher's like, look, if he's not the long-term part of your plan, he's taking time away from Mason Greenwood. He's
That's what I
taking
figured you'd
time
say.
away from Rashford.
Okay.
So
I
there's like,
get that.
yeah,
I don't agree with it necessarily, but I get that.
Yeah, there's the short term, like he's not closing down, and you can now tell how the exact meters someone's run.
Of course.
And then it's the long term, like if he's not in your long term
gonna be
plan
here
to
forever.
win the Premier League,
Yeah.
he's taking really valuable time. And you've already lost Daniel James, who I think is a phenomenal player, and I could not believe that they let him go to Leeds. They should have let Anthony Martial go. It's just insane to me what the decisions that United makes. But anyways, Jeff, what do
This is what I thought. This is what I was trying to articulate. I think the last couple of weeks when we were talking about how dog shit United have been, is that he just doesn't. It's just it was such a weird pivot for them to go after Ronaldo because he doesn't fit into their whole like young forward, like development mentality that they were like. You felt like they had direction in last season. They had something to build off of, right? They had Fernandes in the middle. They had Martial. They had Rashford. They had Greenwood. They had a kind of like a young core, and then they're like, oh, we need jerseys.
We can bring it back. We can
We can bring him back. Get Ronaldo.
Yeah.
actually going on this, they have Cavani, and they brought in Cavani, and that worked out. They brought him in
Right.
last January, kind of like an older guy in the dressing room.
Sure, but that was like different because he's not a. He doesn't have
He's
like
not
a
Ronaldo.
he doesn't have a bazillion fucking Instagram followers and like.
He's not the influencer like Rich.
And Ole
We can't all
Ole
be.
was pressured. You could tell he was just pressured to play Ronaldo. Like there's a pressure to put him on the field every game, and like people were going to the games basically, and they were probably chanting for Ronaldo to come on if he wasn't starting. Like it's ridiculous. Like that is such a distraction from what they were like trying to do. And that I mean,
I think it takes a lot of stones for Carrick to not start him today, but it worked out in the end because they got a point at Stamford Bridge against top 3 team currently in the world. So
Yeah, maybe they keep rolling with that.
yeah, maybe if he doesn't and
I thought
Chelsea win,
Rashford particularly played pretty well today.
I thought he looked
He
great.
looked pretty good.
I think you said something about how when Ronaldo's not playing, other teams have more creative space and there's less pressure to like give the ball to Ronaldo. And I did see that today. There was a little bit more of a flow moving forward when United did attack, which was, to be fair, far and few between.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that Sancho's getting time because they invested $80 million in him. I'm glad that Free Donny, he's coming off the bench, not in the 86th minute, but in the 83rd minute. So he's slowly getting his time. Do you think Rich's 3-3 call is insane? What do you like? If you had $100, what were you putting it on?
It's hard to say.
If sports betting was legal in Massachusetts.
Yeah, if
Air quotes.
air quotes.
In casinos.
I think there's a point. I think against Arsenal, I think United should play Ronaldo. That's one answer to the question I got asked. The other answer is I think United will win. Because there's always a boost when you get a new manager.
Yep. Exactly.
So Ralph Ragnick's coming in. He's, a proven guy. I think a lot of the players will have, want to play for him, try to impress him. And there always is a boost. And they'll probably win 3-1.
Well, that's I guess we'll see what happens. I am conflicted. I think Arsenal, if I had money, I'd put Arsenal because I think that they're in a better moment right now. I think on paper United's still better. And then for my bet, I want United to win. So kind of all over the place.
Arsenal is definitely more organized, and you can tell that
they're trying to do something.
They're trying to do something.
They have
and
a
have a
plan.
plan. They have a
Exactly.
plan. They go out there. It's not
Tap the
just like-
battle.
dude. United's just Ronaldo vibes. at
I
this
really
point.
feel like the whole plan, I feel like in Big Daddy, at the end when Adam Sandler goes in, he's like, what about your 5-year plan? And the guy's in the back, like, flipping the burgers at Hooters. That, to me, is like
Hey.
Arsenal's plan. It's a shoddy plan, but it's a plan.
It's hard to watch McFred out there.
Dude, the McFred is a vibe.
Fred's not good.
He's not that bad, though. I said this a couple weeks ago.
I'd rather
He's
see
not that
Donnie out
bad.
there.
Oh,
than
I'd much
Fred.
rather see Donnie just because free Donnie, but Fred's cool.
I don't know. Whatever.
Well, you want to look at fantasy real quick?
Yeah, I think I'm.
Am I still in the dog shit basement because I suck?
Yeah, you really don't play the game very well.
I try, dude. People don't understand. I sweat about this. Well, I'm up to 11th, moved up one whole spot. Jeff, you're still in 4th.
Yeah.
And Mac Bruce is on top He's taken over Jamie Becker. Jamie Becker, watch out. Mitch just loves third. And Eric Chahone is dead last. He has like people that are not even in the Prem anymore on his team probably. No, his team's not bad. It's not working out. He's trying. I can tell he's trying. He's made some changes.
Dude, I'm only 3 points from third. Your boy's stepping up in a big way.
You're ahead of Oz, which is nice.
Your boy's stepping up in a big way.
I'm not that far off. I'm pretty far off. All right, well, anyways, there's fantasy. Get your shit together. $50 is on the line and some swag. Jeff, anything else we need to think about with this upcoming week?
I'm thinking that it's gonna be rough for me because we're gonna record again. What, Friday?
I thought you were talking about Spurs, but sure.
I don't even watch Spurs anymore. I pay attention and then I just sulk.
That part of the relationship, you've acceptance.
He's in autopilot. He's like going to the
Just
movies, going on a
cruising.
date, and he just falls asleep. Weekend at Bernie's.
Driving around, just listening to music, remembering the good times.
Remember the good times from only like 2 years ago?
Halcyon days.
Yeah, do you remember that time we were in the Champions League final?
Now we're in the Europa Conference League.
Now we're not even in that.
Now we're not even in
Bounce from
that.
that.
We're gonna get bounced from that.
Oof.
Rich, last question. Finishing, because you have so many horses in the race, it's going to be a good one. What's your final top four at the end of the season? What does that look like?
Okay. Yeah, let me look at the table right now. Not to just go off of that, but
Norwich won.
right.
Burnley second.
Bizarro World top four.
Exactly.
Okay, so right now it's Chelsea 1, Man City 2, Liverpool 3, West Ham 4, Arsenal 5, Wolves 6, Tottenham 7, stop at Man U 8. Top 2, top 3. I mean, those are interchangeable. I would say,
You have $100 you have to put down in the next 2 minutes. Pick your top four.
Liverpool 1, Chelsea 2, City 3. The 4 is the wild card. I mean, I think those 3 are kind of locked for top 3 somehow. 4, I mean, we were saying before, West Ham's probably imposters. Probably not going to finish there. But, I mean, who's going to jump to be there? Not Arsenal. Wolves? No.
I think United finishes.
Yeah. I mean, that's not crazy. 4 is wide open. Yeah, let's get weird. Let's say United 4. Yeah.
So you think, okay, wow, I'm glad I asked this. You think Liverpool. Why Liverpool over City and Chelsea?
I mean, it's just probably a recency bias. Just really paying attention this week, and they had obviously their best week in probably the whole calendar year, basically. Those 3 teams, I believe in all 3 of them very much so. But I think Liverpool's, you say who's best is the top of those 3, and it's very close between them. But I would say Liverpool, when they're firing all cylinders, I'd put them a hair above Chelsea, and Chelsea a hair above Man City. So, but between injuries and form and COVID and snow storms and all these different things, and 10 games in a week and like that, it doesn't really matter what you think. It's going to play out differently. But if you gun to my head right now, that's how I would go with it.
I mean, Liverpool have the 3 or 4, if you want to say Firmino, the 3 best attacking players in the Premier League right now.
In the world, I would.
Maybe in the world. Yeah, I mean, Jota's on
as a
some
group,
form.
as an
attacking group. Jota and Salah are just on fire. I mean, yeah.
As an attacking front 3,
very
currently, with chemistry, best 3. Best 3 in the world. Best 3.
I still think Chelsea have a lot to figure out with who their best lineup is from an attacking sense. I think they got it figured out from a defensive and central midfielding perspective, because they can move the ball around, defend really well. They have a good goalkeeper. When they get around the 18-yard box, they are a fucking disaster.
Question marks.
The Chilwell injury is actually bigger than I think people give it credit for, because if you have our back 3 in Chilwell and Reece James, you're not going to score.
No one's getting by. Yeah.
And today, they only scored a goal because we gave it to them, because Jorginho had a brain fart. But if you have Chilwell and Reece James in the wide and our 3 in the back, with Rudiger playing as well as he is, with Aspie on one side, Rudiger and Thiago Silva and Mendy in the goal, you're literally not going to score a goal. That team doesn't like letting goals.
No, they're
and they say
best defensive team in the world, probably.
Yeah, they say that the defense wins championships. offense sells tickets. So I'm kind of like, but with Chilwell getting hurt, man,
I think
Thiago
they bring-
Silva's older.
I think they bring somebody in January.
Yeah.
I think we will
wing
bring
back.
somebody.
You need
We
a
have
wing
to
back.
because
Something.
Chilwell's out for the season
Yeah.
Yeah.
with the ACL.
And Alonso is service is a good player, but you need a backup
Alon-
or a player that's better than Alonso
Right.
because you still need depth at that position. You don't have it right now.
What I'd like to see is if they can do a wing back and put Rudiger on his side, maybe drop Hudson-Odoi into that, or even Ruben Loftus-Cheek.
Try Pulisic.
Just try
on
him
a
out.
wing back and it
Pulisic on defense though.
doesn't work.
I'm not that Hudson-Odoi's any better, but I think Hudson-Odoi's a little bit more tenacious, and I just don't want to see Christian hurt. And every time he goes into a tackle, the kid gets hurt. So
He gets hurt. He's small.
he's a tiny guy. Anyways, Rich, thank you for hopping on the pod.
Anytime, guys. No, it's a pleasure. This was a lot of fun.
And we'll hopefully have you back, and we'll hopefully see the Revs win a championship in the next month.
Yes,
So
sir. Let's go. Come on.
That'd be fun. It's about time. 26 years in the making.
Listeners out there, the Bolo offer is still on the table. send in your pendants, and I'll make you a Bolo.
Thanks, Jeff.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Rich.
Thanks, Rich.
Thanks, guys.
Ciao.
Ciao.
But it's a team game.
So you think it's a mistake signing Ronaldo?
But Ronaldo was never going to get Man United back winning league titles. What was the point in signing him? They come back and win trophies. He's winning trophies. Did you win the FA? Did you win the FA Cup? Did you like winning the FA Cup? Yeah, they come back to win the FA Cup and get the Champions League. They've got in the next round of the Champions League. How much do you think that's worth to the club? If you're looking at the business side of it, the glaze, your share price. That's what he's come back for.
Yeah.
I
So
said that
if you finish
Ronaldo's not going to
year,
fix.
if you finish second
Second's
last
no
year,
good to you.
I know exactly.
Yeah.
So you then sign Ronaldo at 37. You're not going to win the league in 4 years. If you sign someone at 36, 37, it's to win right now. If you sign Varane, a 4 times Champions League winner and World Cup winner, it's to win right now. Are they any
Do you
closer
think,
to the
Roy?
are they
A
any
few months ago,
closer-
when Ronaldo signed
are they
for Man
any
United,
closer to winning
anyone
the
who
league
said
right now?
Ronaldo is... No, he's not come back to win the league. What's he come back? Come back to help him win a trophy.
What's he here for?
So in the meantime...
What is he here for?
Well, Mourinho didn't win the league, but he won one or two trophies.
What? You finished second
So when you won the
last year.
FA Cup
only
and other
league goal.
trophies, were you not buzzing with that? Man United are a cup team at the moment.
You just said Ronaldo never come here to win the league. What is he here for?
To win trophies.
What are you at Man United for?
Cups.
Oh,
Why not going through this?
Is that where Man United have gone?
Absolutely.
We're happy with cups.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm not. But that's where they are as a club. Look at the team. Look at the league. Look at the last 2 or 3 years. They're not going to win the league for the next 2 or 3 years. I tell
So
you that.
what
now.
would you sign Ronaldo for then? At 37? If they're not going to win in the next 2 or 3 years, start getting Greenwood on the pitch. Start getting Sancho on the pitch. If they're not going to win the league right now,
Then we're never going to win the league. But Ronaldo was never
so
going
what
to
was
be
the
the
point? There's no point signing
I'll say
him.
it one more time. To win some trophies. FA Cups. Yeah, I know. That's where they are.
Time to go.
Thanks for listening to the Boys and Bolos podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, Twitch at Boys and Bolos.
If you'd like to be a guest, please reach out. You can hit us on any of the social media accounts that Jeff just mentioned, or email us directly at boysandbolos@gmail.com.
Thanks for listening, and see you next time.